The day everything changed, it was a day like any other. The sun streamed through my window, illuminating the room with that soft morning light. The smell of fresh coffee mingled with the aroma of the bread that was still warm in the kitchen. Everything seemed calm, ordinary, almost perfect in their routine. But sometimes life likes to play tricks. Sometimes she puts small stones in our path to show us something important. The routine that seemed safe, I got up, still sleepy, stumbling a bit on my slippers. The house cat followed me, meowing softly as if to warn me, today is different. I went to the bathroom, washed my face, and stared at my reflection in the mirror. Everything seemed normal until my eyes met something I wasn't expecting. A small lump in the breast. He was so discreet that, for a moment, I thought he was imagining it. But there it was, a firm little spot, different from my skin. Probably nothing serious, I told myself. It's just a tense muscle, a bundle of nerves, something temporary. But there was something in my heart that wouldn't let me ignore it. Something that said, look closely, pay attention, this matters. The first fear at first, I tried to continue my routine as if nothing had happened. I worked, did laundry, and prepared lunch, but that nagging doubt wouldn't leave my mind. Every step I took, every movement I made, seemed to remind me of the lump. And then came the fear, not the exaggerated fear that paralyzes, but that silent fear that keeps us alert, that makes us reflect on our lives and our choices. Questions arose, quickly and unsettlingly. What if it's something serious? What if I have to change everything in my life? How do I tell my family? And even though it was just a tiny bit, something started to change inside me. A mixture of attentiveness, concern, and responsibility. The decision to seek help. Life teaches us that ignoring the signs is never the best option. Even though I was scared, I decided to call the doctor. I booked an appointment, still not knowing exactly what to expect. It was a small action, a simple step, but it would be the first step on a journey that would change everything. While waiting for the day of the appointment, I started noticing details that I hadn't noticed before. The warmth of the sun on the skin, the scent of flowers in the street, the distant sound of children playing in the park. Life seemed more intense, more urgent, as if the universe were saying, enjoy every moment, pay attention, observe the details, they are important. Arriving at the doctor's office, the day of the appointment has arrived. The office was quiet, with light-colored walls and the subtle scent of alcohol and cleanliness. I sat down in the waiting room and realized my heart was beating faster than normal. A mixture of anxiety and hope filled every second. When I was finally called, I tried to smile. I tried to appear calm. But inside, she felt butterflies in her stomach, that strange feeling that something big was about to happen. The doctor greeted me with a welcoming smile and asked the reason for my visit. I tried to be objective, but my voice trembled a little. I talked about the lump, about the fear, about the uncertainty. She listened attentively, lightly touching my shoulder and saying, let's check it carefully. It's important to look at all the details, the premonition that no one sees. While she was preparing the tests, a strange sensation ran through my body. It wasn't pain, but a silent warning, something saying that this moment could change my life. And it was true. At that moment, I still didn't know how everything would unfold, but my body was already warning me. Pay attention. This is serious. Don't ignore it. And so, from a seemingly ordinary day, an almost imperceptible nodule, thus began a story of courage, struggle, and overcoming adversity that would transform everything. If these stories touched you, leave your comment, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. The impossible diagnosis. The day of the results has finally arrived. I woke up early, my heart racing, with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Each step seemed slower, as if the world were holding its breath with me. On the way to the doctor's office, I tried to distract myself, looking at the trees, listening to the birds singing, feeling the wind on my face. But nothing could erase that tightness in his chest. I knew something big was about to be revealed. The phrase that changes everything. When the doctor entered the room, her smile was kind, but there was a weight in her gaze. She asked me to sit down and said, "I need to be honest with you. It's a difficult case. Very difficult. Perhaps impossible to cure completely." Those words fell like a cold stone upon my heart. Impossible. It was as if the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. My body trembled. My hands grew cold, and my eyes filled with tears. But even in that moment of shock, something began to awaken within me. A silent fire, a determination that didn't depend on what the doctors said. I will not accept that it is impossible. I will fight. Fear that transforms into courage. In the days that followed, fear dominated part of my thoughts. But little by little, I realized that I couldn't give myself to him. Fear existed to teach me courage. Every small decision I made, scheduling exams, researching, treatments, talking to specialists, was a brick in building my strength. I began to understand something essential. The diagnosis was not the end of the story. It was only the beginning of my struggle. The impact on everyday life. The diagnosis changed everything, not just physically, but emotionally. I paid attention to every sensation in my body. Each meal, each gesture, each smile had a new meaning. The simple routine of showering, tidying the house, and taking a deep breath has become an act of resistance. My family also felt the change. There were tears, hugs, and shared fear, but words of hope, strength, and faith also emerged. "You'll make it. We're with you." And that gave me the courage to face the storm that was yet to come. Preparing for treatment, the next step was to understand what my body needed. Detailed examinations, consultations with oncologists, discussions about surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy. Every medical term sounded complex, but I learned to listen carefully, knowing the enemy is the first step to defeating him. Even with the impossible diagnosis, one idea stuck in my mind: if there's a chance, however small, I'll seize it. And that's how I started planning my fight, with strategy, courage, and hope, even in the face of what seemed impossible. The first flame of determination. There was a moment, sitting alone in the waiting room, when I took a deep breath and looked at myself in the mirror. My hair was still in place. My face still had that natural glow. My eyes, though filled with fear, also carried a silent promise. You're not going to give up. You're going to prove that it's possible. From that moment on, the word impossible ceased to be a sentence. It became a challenge I would accept with courage, one step at a time. The impossible diagnosis was, paradoxically, the starting point of my strength. He taught me that fear and courage can coexist. Listening to your body and acting on it is more powerful than any negative words. Small daily decisions build a strength that no illness can break. And so, what seemed to be the end became the beginning of my true journey of overcoming. The journey of the struggle. After receiving the impossible diagnosis, I began to walk the most difficult path of my life. It was a road full of ups and downs, full of unexpected turns, but also full of lessons and discoveries. The treatment began with detailed consultations, tests that seemed like science fiction, and decisions that would affect every aspect of my life. It was like entering an unknown labyrinth, and I needed to learn to walk without fear. The first impact of the treatment, chemotherapy, came first. The first session was terrifying. Enormous machines, strange noises, doctors in gloves and masks, the smell of the hospital mixed with strong medications. I sat in the chair, and as the solution slowly trickled down my arm, I felt my body react in ways I had never imagined. Intense, weakness, as if my legs weren't mine, nausea that made me close my eyes and take a deep breath, a sensation of heat mixed with cold, a constant reminder that my body was fighting back. But even with all the effects, there were small victories. I was able to walk to the room without help. I smelled the coffee and managed to take a sip without feeling nauseous. Smiling, even when afraid, has become an act of resistance. Each step I took, each small achievement, was like a star lighting up on my dark path. Good days and bad days, the journey was not a straight line. There were days of joy, when I could laugh, talk to friends, and feel strength in my body. And there were days of sadness, when the tiredness was overwhelming and the mirror seemed to reflect someone different from me. But I learned something essential. There is no such thing as a perfect day or a terrible day. There are days to fight and days to rest, and both are part of victory. Like when a child learns to ride a bicycle. Some days we fall, other days we pedal without falling, but each attempt makes us stronger. The importance of support during this phase, I realized something incredible. We don't have to fight alone. My family became my shield, my friends, my fuel, doctors, my compass in this unknown labyrinth. Each hug, each word, each visit was like medicine for the soul. It was impossible not to feel that this network of love gave me strength I didn't know I had. Learning to listen to the body in the midst of the struggle, I discovered the importance of paying attention to every signal from my body. Unusual tiredness wasn't weakness, it was a sign of alertness. A sharp pain or tingling sensation wasn't a detail, it was information. Each meal, each deep breath, each simple gesture became an act of care. This realization changed my relationship with my body. Before, I used to rush too much, ignoring small signs. Now, every detail was precious, like a clue on a map that would guide me to victory. Small victories, big achievements throughout the journey. I celebrated each achievement, no matter how small, being able to get out of bed without help. Going out for a walk in the street and feeling the wind on your face. Eating something tasty without getting sick of it. Laughing at a simple joke or playing with my nephew. These small victories were huge in my eyes, and they showed that even in the face of what seemed impossible, life could be lived with hope. Inner transformation at the end of each week. I noticed profound changes. I need more patience with myself, more strength in the face of fear, more connection with my family and friends, more gratitude for every moment of life. Cancer taught me, in the hardest way possible, that courage is not the absence of fear, but rather continuing to fight even when you feel weak. And so, step by step, session by session, day by day, I began to feel that the impossible could, indeed, be transformed into reality. Victory and transformation. After months of struggle, painful treatments, and days filled with fear and hope, the day I had been waiting for finally arrived. The final result. The exam that would tell if I had won or if there were still more battles ahead. On the way to the doctor's office, the sun was shining differently. I don't know if it was the light or if it was my eyes that were seeing everything from a new perspective. Each step seemed heavier and lighter at the same time, heavy with fear and light with hope. The meeting with the doctor. When I entered the room, my doctor smiled, but there was something more to that expression, a gleam that seemed to hold good news. She asked me to sit down and took a deep breath. Silence filled the room. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any words. It was like the pause before a song begins, the moment when the heart realizes that something grand is about to happen. Then, in a calm voice, she said, "You're in remission. The cancer is gone. You won." At that moment, I felt a mixture of disbelief and profound relief. The weight I had carried in my chest since the diagnosis disappeared, as if it had been dissolved by the morning sun. Relief and emotion, my legs went weak and my hands trembled. Tears streamed down my face, but they weren't just tears of sadness. They were tears of gratitude, relief, and victory. I took a deep breath and realized every difficult day, every treatment session, every moment of fear, it was all worth it. And for the first time in months, I felt that I could breathe freely. The world seemed different. Upon leaving the hospital, I realized that nothing in the world had changed. The sun continued to shine. The wind continued to blow, but something inside me was different. I had changed. The sound of the wind seemed more intense. The colors of the trees seemed more vibrant. Every smile I saw along the way had a new meaning. I walked differently with steps that conveyed strength and gratitude. The world, which once seemed threatening and unpredictable, now seemed to me a place full of possibilities. 8 little things that became big. During the struggle, I learned to value simple things. A tight hug from someone we love, the smell of fresh coffee in the morning, the laughter of children playing in the park, every meal shared with the family, every gesture of affection and care, no matter how small. All of this, which previously seemed trivial, has become treasure. And I learned that happiness isn't just in the big events, it's in the details that we often ignore. The impact of victory beating cancer wasn't just about physical health. It was a complete transformation. My mind has become stronger. My heart is more open and grateful. My most resilient soul. I learned that impossible can be overcome when courage, hope, support, and love come together. And this victory wasn't just mine. It also belonged to every person who supported me, who cheered me on, and who stood by my side during the difficult days. The lesson that remains today, I can say, with every cell of my body, my doctor said it was impossible, but I proved him wrong. The impossible doesn't mean the end. It means challenge. It means an opportunity to discover our own strength. And above all, I learned that listen to your body, pay attention to the signals, and act with courage. It can save lives. Life speaks through subtle details, small warnings, and if you listen, you can transform your destiny. If you're facing a battle, big or small, don't ignore the signals your body is sending you. Don't underestimate your strength. Don't give up hope. Every courageous step, every small victory, every gesture of care is proof that the impossible can be overcome. And even though the road is long and difficult, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a new day full of possibilities. There's always a chance to prove, against all odds, that you are bigger than any challenge. Life after the impossible. Looking back, I realize how it all started with something so simple. An ordinary day. A peaceful routine, until a small lump changed my life forever. I remember the initial shock. The silent fear that arose without warning. The day I realized my body was talking to me and I needed to listen. The day I decided not to ignore what seemed insignificant. And that decision was the first step on the greatest journey of my life. Then came the diagnosis. Takes a deep breath, the phrase that no patient wants to hear. It's a difficult case, perhaps impossible to cure. My heart froze, and the world seemed to stop. But at that moment, something awakened within me, a silent strength, a courage that didn't depend on what others said. And I started to fight. It was a long journey. Chemotherapy sessions, surgeries, fears, good days and bad days, endless nights of doubt. But each step, each gesture, each small victory became gigantic in the face of the challenge I was facing. I learned to appreciate life in the details. A friend's smile, a family member's hug, the smell of breakfast coffee, the wind on my face. Things that once seemed small were now treasures. And then, the day of victory arrived. Long past the final exam, the result that confirmed it. I was in remission. The cancer was gone, but the transformation remained forever. My mind is stronger. My heart is more grateful. My soul is more resilient. The impossible had been achieved, not just because my body survived, but because I discovered something bigger, the strength that exists within each of us. If you are facing your own battle, big or small, remember, the impossible is not a limit. It's a challenge. Every little step counts. Every act of courage matters. Every act of love and hope builds a bridge to victory. Today, I can say with complete conviction, my doctor said it was impossible, but I proved him wrong. If I could do it, you can too. Life goes on, and now, each day has a new meaning. Every breath, every moment, every hug is a reminder that we're stronger than we imagine, and that, even in the face of fear and uncertainty, there is always hope. Deep breath. Final pause, because life is precious. Courage is infinite, and the impossible can be overcome. If these stories touched you, leave your comment, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos.